Madam Speaker, I wish to start with the Sir Lee Elmore Judicial and Legal Services Complex. The complex was closed in June 2022 due to the presence of extreme levels of mold throughout the building. Persons were getting sick, a young lady's hair started to fall out, and the building had to be closed. As you know, Madam Speaker, that building housed 2 magistrates' courts, 2 high courts, and the High Court Registry, as well as the chambers for the judges. Madam Speaker, we had to move the criminal court to the police training school at Ponce Pasture. We had to move the magistrates' courts to Fort Lands in August 2022. And we had to move the High Court Registry to the Sir Tapley Seaton Annex next door to the Sir Lee Elmore Complex. We've had to adjust so much, Madam Speaker, because of the closure of the complex. However, the ministry officials have been working tirelessly to ensure that our courts continue to function despite our physical constraints. But Madam Speaker, in relation to the building, there has been a delay in completing the full examination of what needs to be done with the Sir Lee Elmore Judicial and Legal Services Complex. Because of the extreme mold presence, it's difficult for the public work officials to spend much time in the building. As you know, Madam Speaker, it has many rooms, many elements. So we're still waiting a full report. But what I can tell the people of this nation is that, 1, we have to replace the roof. 2, we have to replace all electrical and data lines. 3, we have to gut the central air conditioning system and replace it with a new system. And 4, we may have to condemn the basement, which attracts a lot of moisture, given its presence in Bastille and our aquifer and our structures of our underground are. So, Madam Speaker, I had a very frank and open discussion recently, last week, with the Public Works team. We have a plan to find a way to address all of the issues. Part of the reason why we're here is that plasters were being put on sores. We don't want to approach it that way at the ministry, so our plan is to address the complex holistically because it is a historically important building as well as being an important part of our democracy. So I promise the nation that we're working hard to resolve that as soon as possible. Madam Speaker, in relation to the implementation of the good governance agenda, the ministry, given the historic passing of legislation 2 weeks ago in this Honourable House, is taking steps to prepare for a professional and wide-reaching public education campaign with respect to the implementation of the Anti-Corruption Act, the Integrity in Public Life Amendment Act, the Freedom of Information Amendment Act, so that when those laws are triggered in a few short weeks, everyone in this country, particularly public servants, will understand how they function and what are the do's and don'ts in our society going forward. Madam Speaker, I wish to report that we have taken the first steps to establish, and I'm very proud of this, an Access to Justice Bureau. Madam Speaker, the Access to Justice Bureau will have 2 divisions, a civil division, known currently as the Legal Aid Department, where persons who cannot afford to pay lawyers at a commercial rate of fees can get assistance from qualified lawyers at little to no cost to bring their matters to the court for resolution. A report is currently being prepared by the new leadership of this arm of the Bureau, and after we review the report at the ministry, the Bureau team will be sent out weekly to the communities to bring access to justice to as many of our people as possible. The other arm of the Bureau, Madam Speaker, will be the Public Defender's Office. This will be an office in which lawyers paid by the state will be available to defend persons who are charged with offences before the Magistrates Court and the High Court. Madam Speaker, as a former prosecutor, as you were, as I was, we know that there are too many persons that go before our courts unrepresented. It is our duty to provide justice to our people, and that is the goal of the Access to Justice Bureau. is to provide the swiftest and most effective access to justice to everyone, no matter their economic circumstances. Madam Speaker, I hope that I have proved that my intervention would be mercifully brief, and with your permission, I wish to take my seat.